Welcome to Wines We Drink, a podcast for wine lovers and learners. I'm Charlotte Norsworthy Varnum, and together with my counterpart Keith Herndon, we'll be exploring a new wine each week. Keith is a lover of wine, and I'm a learner of wine, and we hope you'll sip along with us. Welcome back, everyone, to the Wines We Drink podcast. I'm Charlotte Varnum, one of your co-hosts, and I am thrilled to have you with us for our first episode of Season 6. I'm joined by my co-host Keith Herndon, a certified wine sommelier, who is once again with us for another tour through 12 great wines and all the stories that go with them.
Hello, Charlotte. Season 6. We never imagined this many seasons or the success we've had with it when we started this thing. But what's so great is the camaraderie we've had and the many friends we've made along the way. So welcome, everybody, to Season 6.
We're so excited to be back. Wines We Drink started when you needed a project to complete for your certification as a wine educator back in 2021, coming out of the pandemic. And that feels like forever ago, but also like yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you asked me to help be a part of it then, because here we are now in 2026, still drinking wine and still talking about it.
Well, Season 5 last summer was an incredibly special season because we produced a book, right? Wine Conversations, Exploring Meaning, Mystery, and Myth. And we used that book and its interviews with wine experts to serve as the basis for each of our episodes last year. We're going to do some things a little bit different this year.
Yeah, we were a little bit ambitious in 2025, okay? But it paid off, right? And it inspired this season too.
Oh, yeah, in more ways than we could have imagined going into that season. But we're going to have a great Season 6. But first, we have some bragging to do.
Yes, we do, and we've earned it in a good way. We have so much to share with you.
Charlotte, you are so right about that. And we're going to start with our wins once again in the Taste Awards.
Can you believe it? We didn't get to go to Beverly Hills this year, which is so unfortunate. A strike at the Writers Guild Theater postponed indefinitely the red carpet ceremony. But that hasn't stopped our celebrating of two big Taste Awards. After all, the creators of the Taste Awards call them the Oscars of food, fashion, and lifestyle media. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not really an Oscar, but it feels pretty darn close. When our book, drumroll, won a Special Achievement Taste Award as Best Interactive Ebook. And the reason it won is simple. You're a fantastic editor.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for that plug. But the content really was what you created with those great interviews. And that won the day before you contributed some amazing photos on top of that. And so much so that one of them on page 194, for you loyal listeners who have the book, you can flip to it in your ebook. That photo was a winner in the Taste Photography Awards. And that photo, which you entitled Perfect Pairing, was the perfect image to end the book, and the Taste Awards judges recognized you with another medal. I mean, multimedia.
Yes, it was surreal for the book and the photo to win. A big thanks to the Academy of Media Tastemakers for recognizing our work. Heck, we're still riding high from 2 years ago when this podcast won Best Food or Drink Podcast and Best Lifestyle Podcast.
And the podcast sadly didn't capture a medal this year, but we were finalists again this year in those two categories, plus in two more categories, Best Reality Series and Best Drink or Beverage Program. I mean, man, we are so grateful for the recognition from the Taste Awards. But now it's time to get back to work, right? We got to maintain it. And now it's really time to jump into Season 6.
Yes, I guess if you win some awards and get some recognition, you can't rest on those laurels, right?
Right. What have you done for me lately?
Right. So we're going to open some wine and talk about it.
Okay, I am so eager to get started.
Well, as our loyal listeners know, we like to begin the season with an affordable, easy-to-drink wine, something that will pair with a summer, easy living vibe, In recent seasons, we started some of those with delicious Italian Proseccos. Last year, we treated listeners to a light, low-alcohol Sauvignon Blanc from South Africa's Western Cape. that turned out to be a real fan favorite.
Yes, it was salty blonde and a real favorite of mine as well. I just gifted that to a friend last week, I swear. You can revisit that episode and all of the episodes from our 5 previous seasons on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and most all of the other major podcast platforms. We also have a useful archive of every episode at our website, wineswedrink.com.
To get us started with season 6, we're offering up a ready-made party in a bottle. Our selection is a pre-made wine and blood orange spritzer. It hails from Napa Valley in California and checks all the boxes for a delicious summer sipper.
You know, I am all in on a pre-made spritzer, and listeners, you really can't go wrong with this one.
This bottle is listed as having only 7.5% alcohol by volume, so it's also a lower alcohol choice, and that appeals to a lot of, to just a growing number of wine consumers. And it has a great refreshing fizz to it, right?
So I see this bottle comes with a soda type cap, so you have to grab a bottle opener instead of a corkscrew to pour us a couple of glasses.
Yeah, the best way to serve this is over some crushed ice. So I've already got some ice in the glasses, so we're ready to go. I'm going to get my bottle opener here and here for that fizzy sound, okay? Ooh. You hear the little, kind of a little mini pop.
A little mini pop, but still feels like summer, right? It's like
absolutely.
cracking open a Coke or something in the summertime.
Right, so how many pour us a couple of glasses here?
Man, yep, you can really hear that fizz, see that fizz.
Okay, that nice blood orange color.
Oh, it's a great color, yes. A nice magenta, but still clear. Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yes.
Get some of that crunchy, crushed ice in there too.
Right.
Wow. I mean, you are so right about that fizz. But man, is that refreshing. It has a nice sweetness, but it's not syrupy. It's not like a soda. I'm really digging this. All right, let me go in for another sip.
You're really getting that ice there, aren't you? Yeah.
That's the best part. So before we talk more about what's in our glass here, Keith, is this another one of your finds from the Tapped Athens Wine Tasting Market?
Absolutely. Todd and Angela Hurt, the proprietors of Tapped Athens, do such a wonderful job of finding these interesting products and bringing them into our market. Todd, who is a certified specialist of wine, is all about quality wines and great values, and this is one of those.
Well, of course. We all like a special fine wine from time to time, right? But there's also room in our wine portfolio for a fun, pre-made spritzer, but that doesn't mean that the maker has forgotten about the quality.
No, not at all. This wine is based on a foundation of a Barbera Rosé with grapes that had a long hang time in the vineyards. That gives them a high acidity and contributes to the citrus character that we're sensing here. Then it's blended with juice from organic blood oranges that are also grown in California. There's also a touch of botanicals, a mix of hibiscus, vanilla bean, and rooibos tea.
That sounds like such a nice recipe, and it really comes together to create such a lovely bubbly. And what's also nice is it's made by a woman winemaker, Samantha Sheehan, who earned her accolades with the success of her Poe and Ultraviolet wines long before Mom and Pop.
Yeah, you're right about that. Samantha's one of Napa's best. Back in 2021, Wine Enthusiast had her on their list of 40 under 40 tastemakers. So this is a serious winemaker who's crafted this pre-made spritzer, not as a fad product by any means, but one that fits a need in the wine marketplace.
Yes, and we should note that this pre-made Spritz Pop bottle uses her highly acclaimed blood orange aperitif. You could buy that and make your own spritz, but I think she's tapped into this ready-to-drink market in a really effective way.
Yeah, I mean, she's riding a wave. I mean, this market for pre-made spritz drinks, which you see as a ready-to-drink or RTD, as it may be mentioned in the trades, right? It's experiencing rapid growth, right? Consumers are demanding convenient, low alcohol by volume products. They want also refreshing beverages,
right?
So that's a trend that's particularly true among Gen Z and millennials, and they are driving this global spritzer market that we're seeing. It's projected to grow really significantly. I mean, one report I saw estimated that this particular category of RTD will expand at an annual compounded growth rate of nearly 45% between 2024 and 2031. So,
Holy cow.
that's a bright spot.
There's more to see, it seems like, and this might just be the beginning of some of these high quality but still accessible spritzers maybe coming to market. And you're right, that is a significantly bright spot, and what I feel like we've been talking about in the last couple of seasons and what we've been seeing is an otherwise weak market for wine and other alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, and we like to find these positive trends and talk about them as well.
Absolutely. Right. Let's zero in on a shining star here, and let's get back to the drink itself. So, as we've been talking, I've continued to sip. I've been able to avoid the crushed ice, which I'm still in love with, but I'm really also in love with that zest, the zesty citrus from the blood orange. There's some powerful notes of raspberry and strawberry. This is just so good.
Those are great observations, and I'll add here that the official tasting notes also call out pomegranate.
Yes.
Right? So overall, it's a nice blend of citrus and red fruits. Nothing offensive in this bottle, right? Mm-hmm. It's a crowd pleaser, perfect for a pool party or any other summer patio gathering.
Absolutely. Add some of those fresh fruits into this spritzer for almost like a pool party side sangria of sorts. That would be awesome. But if I'm buying this for my pool party, how much is it going to set me back?
You should be able to find it for around $35 or less.
Wow.
With 5 servings in the bottle, you're providing a nice cocktail for just $7 a glass. That seems reasonable for this quality. So, now that you've been drinking it a bit and having it taste it, let's put on your Chef Charlotte hat and give us your thoughts on how you would pair the spritzer to actually serve at your patio party or your pool party.
Ooh, yes. So when you find a product like this, and one of its big wins is to make things easy, in my opinion, you really don't want to overthink the food pairing and make it complicated. So I'm going with an easy bruschetta. Toasted crostini with fresh tomatoes tossed in some olive oil and topped with a little bit of crumpled goat cheese. It's easy to make, it's easy to eat, it's a fan favorite. Your guests will love you for this spritzer and for this pairing. And I think nothing really could be simpler.
Well, that's an amazing suggestion. That crumbly goat cheese with those fresh tomatoes and olive oil works so nicely, with the citrus notes and the fruit notes of the spritzer. So if you want to offer a guest another cheese selection on its own, do you have something else in mind?
Yeah, I think Taleggio would really kind of be my first thought, and that's different than a goat cheese. It's a semi-soft Italian cheese. It's a mild and fruity flavor. The texture is kind of similar to a brie cheese, but a little bit more punchy, and still, I think, a great match with this fruity wine spritzer.
Well, you have my taste buds prime. What are we going to try first? The bruschetta or the cheese?
Yes, and we will get to both, but I think we'll start with the bruschetta because it's all ready for you to kind of grab a piece and give a taste. So I'm going to scoot those in and maybe we can enjoy a few bites and a few sips.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll grab a napkin here also if we don't want to make a mess here in the wine kitchen.
Emphasis on the crumbly, yes. And what I love about bruschetta too, we were talking earlier in the episode about this, that you can have something that's simple but high quality. I feel like bruschetta is a great example of that.
Yes. Okay, so here's my bite of your bruschetta, Chef Charlotte.
Cheers.
Oh, that is such a nice summer refreshing snack. Even without the wine, allow me to compliment Chef Charlotte.
Thank you.
This simple bruschetta is divine. So now I'm gonna have a sip of the wine.
Right, pair it together.
This little spritzer.
Imagine us poolside.
When you add the spritzer to the pairing, you bring out all that we talked about. Citrus, fresh fruit, and that crunchy bruschetta with the tomato and goat cheese. It just amplifies the wine spritzer. It's just truly delicious together.
I agree. It works so well together. The goat cheese brings out the tang in both the cheese and in the spritzer. You have that bright and freshness, but then you have it kind of grounded in the crunch with a little bit of that garlic in there in the bruschetta mixture. I think it really works well together. And again, let me emphasize this. It's simple, right? You're serving a pre-made spritzer. Keep the pairing simple. The ingredients are the most important part. Keep those fresh. And I think it just goes to show you can have ease and quality at the same time.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Earlier in the episode, we talked a bit about what's happened since we ended season 5. And that season relied heavily on our book project. It was truly a multimedia effort last year. And while we don't have a new book this season, we do have an excellent selection of wines that we've curated for you for our 12 episodes. And they were inspired by my trips to France and trips to California, as well as some tastings that I hosted over the winter. And we're even going to have a wine that was suggested to us by your parents in one of their trips, right, Charlotte?
Yes. They came back from a trip to the Willamette Valley in Oregon, raving about a wine that they found. And y'all, they were not wrong. It is so delicious. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to finish our bruschetta, and we'll talk more about our upcoming episodes.
Yeah, while our listeners are away, I'm going to grab some of that Taleggio cheese also and give it a try with this wine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's go for it. Hello again, everyone. We are back from break, and we are ready to talk more about the season that we have planned ahead for you. So many great wines and so many great food and cheese pairings are in the works.
Yeah, but before we get into that, we have to go back and clarify. You talked about those crostinis that we made the bruschetta from.
Yes.
Hey, those are not just any crostinis. Those are your homemade sourdough bread, right?
Yes. So I have been on a sourdough journey in the last year and a half now. And I decided, I have some of this sourdough on hand. Let me, chop it up into some bite-sized pieces and toast it up. And man, I think that was a good choice.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Certainly not required. It, didn't make it, takes a simple recipe and may make it a little more complicated. But if you've got some sourdough lying around, I would recommend it.
Yeah, toast it and make crostinis out of it, right?
Why not?
And speaking of cheese pairings that are coming up, this Taleggio cheese that you suggested to go with this spritzer is spot on. I mean, it is a bit salty cheese, but does it ever bring out the fruit notes in the wine spritzer? So yes, absolutely. We're going to amp up our food pairings this season, and we're going to put you at the forefront with your alter ego, Chef Charlotte.
Yes,
right?
That's right. We're putting on the chef's hat. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I'm so ready to share more of my kitchen creations with you this season.
Well, many of you loyal listeners understand that we introduced Chef Charlotte last season, but we're planning to lean into her culinary skills even more this season in a way bigger way. Why? Well, I think just today, with a very simple bruschetta, we've proven that she's an excellent cook. And after 5 seasons co-hosting the show, she's so much more than just a co-host, right?
Shucks.
You're really into this wine and food pairings, and so we're going to really lean into all of the learning that you've done over these last 5 seasons. So, stay with us as she demonstrates these skills over our next 11 episodes.
Absolutely. I mean, clearly food is, and has been for a long time, but especially here since I've been engaging in this podcast, the food side of the pairings is a passion project for me. And it's exciting to have this opportunity to think through the challenges of food and wine pairing. It's kind of like a puzzle, and come up with some of the dishes that will entertain you, and in some cases, perhaps get you to think outside the box a little bit.
Well, it has me excited about this season. I mean, you've never served me anything I didn't want to jump in and enjoy. And I know our listeners are going to feel the same way when we share some of the dishes that are coming their way this season.
Well, I really hope so. I mean, as we were working on the wine selections for this season and talking through our approach, you did throw a couple of curveballs my way, so I hope that all of my selections pan out.
Well, we'll leave it up to our listeners to see if you hit those curveballs out of the park, but I'm confident. So speaking of our wine selections for this season, we always do this in the first episode. We want to kind of give some sneak peeks for the audience into what these future episodes are going to hold.
Absolutely. Sounds like a plan. We want to clue you into what you can expect from us this summer. You mentioned earlier that many of the wines this season were inspired by your trips, right, to France and California. So let's start there. Tell us about your wine journey in France.
Well, my wife and I had a relaxing, enjoyable experience on one of those longboat tours that took us on the Saône and Rhone rivers. We started at a little river port just south of Dijon called Saint-Jean-de-Lone, and we ended up all the way south in Arles. Just really amazing. It took us through Burgundy, into the Beaujolais, and down through the Côte de Rhône. So many great wines, so much great food, and so much history to absorb.
Wow, that sounds so amazing. I mean, and so many of those regions that you just described have come up even over the years in previous seasons. And so the wines that you've selected based on that trip are outstanding. They just have to be. Listeners, get ready. We are jumping in next week with a rosé from the heart of the Côte de Rhône. And then in future episodes, spread out through the season, we're featuring a crisp white Burgundy, a prototypical Beaujolais, and a red Burgundy from one of the oldest chateaus in the region.
Yeah, I'm going to give you some fascinating stories of Chateau de Roulis in episode 8. So hang around this summer. We get to that red Burgundy and that just unbelievable chateau. It'll be a fantastic episode. I'm looking forward to, what is that? 8 weeks from now.
I know, right? So be sure to just dog-ear that on your calendars, everyone.
Right.
But no, that one is a good one and a good tease for the back half of the season. But we can't do a season of Wines We Drink without talking about your trips to California, of course.
Right. That's right. I mean, we'll take our listeners back to Napa, which is my happy place. We're going to do a refreshingly dry Riesling and a Merlot that will have you thinking differently about that often misunderstood varietal. Also, I had the opportunity to host a wine tasting during a conference in San Diego. Not so much wine country there, but through that tasting, I presented a Bordeaux-style red blend from Paso Robles that I know in my heart our listeners are going to love. And we can't forget that one of the wines this season, as we mentioned earlier, is a recommendation from your mom and dad.
I know, and a trip that I wish I could have been on, right? We won't give too much away, but let's just say that they fell in love with a white wine made from grapes that we most often think as a red wine.
Charlotte, we have a great season ahead for our loyal listeners of Wines We Drink and for any of the newcomers that may have joined our show today. There's no better co-host to have with me for this season than you, right? Aww. I already know some of the pairings that Chef Charlotte has on the agenda, and my mouth is watering. So listeners, stay with us, and you'll be in for some exceptional wines and some exceptional food pairing suggestions.
Yes, I love how we have developed this show together over the years. And Keith, thanks again for your compliments and for also being the best co-host that's out there. That is a wrap already for our first episode of Season 6. We are so thrilled that our podcast has made it this far. We're so happy that you, our listeners, whether you're returning or you're new, have chosen to spend this time with us. We've said it many times, but we'll say it again. We're not paid influencers. No one pays us to have their wines featured on this show, so we are independent.
Yeah, that's great to say it again. These are truly Wines We Drink, the name of the show. They are the wines I find, you find, your parents find for us, right?
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
And they're the wines, that you'll make even better with some of these stellar pairings that we're going to feature this season.
Oh, yes, we're going to customize them that much more. And, we've already had an enjoyable day drinking on this spritzer together, laying out the plan for the upcoming season. So, listeners, thanks for joining us. And we hope you'll be with us next week as we feature Keith's rosé selection from the Côte de Rhône.
And we encourage you to bring along some wine friends. As I always say, wine is better shared.
Especially at a pool party, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers, everyone.
Yes, cheers, everyone. Until next week.
Thanks for listening to Wines We Drink. Listen to our other episodes anywhere you get your podcasts, and be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Wines We Drink, and check out our episode guides at wineswedrink.com. Cheers.